Oi oi, CRT here today. First off, I'd like to apologise for the gap in content. It's very difficult to make videos and keep a full-time job down and also stay motivated. My hat's off to the YouTubers that do this day in, day out. Today's video is going to be a game room tour. I haven't done one since March and a fair amount has changed. I think some people might be interested. So let's get into it. So this is my game room. I'll just do a quick 360. So, and then we'll get into it. So on the left hand side I just have 3 billies. They're the standard height with extra shelves in, but I have started to remove the extra shelves. And you can see at the top I've got my bigger products that just don't really fit on the shelf and also make pretty cool display stands. This is my latest pickups, which is the Resident Evil chainsaws. I'm very happy with those. Going across, then we have some of the consoles that I use or don't use. That Virtual Boy is being repaired, so it actually works. I still don't use it because, you know, I don't like headaches. Jaguar, I'd love some more games for that. And then my Retron 5. And then the first billy is I call it the PlayStation section. So it starts off with the PS1 games. I've been buying these 3D printed stands and just sticking them on display. They're only command stripped on, so I can move them if I need to. They're £5 a pop, off of a chap off of well, I'll link his website because I can't remember where I bought it from. But yeah, here are my PS1 games. They're double stacked on a single billy. And I use DVD cases, if you can see that, to give them height so I can see the full run across. My PlayStation 3 is a backwards compatible version, so I can play all the games on it in one console, plus it's modded so I can play imports. But yeah, there's my PlayStation collection. I'm hoping to expand it out next year, so this is why I've left this extra shelf filled up with my pops. Then it's to PS2 and some HD DVD. I've just started to buy some of these because they're cheap and they're mostly of my era of films, so I'm not getting films that I don't want to see. And then right at the bottom is my PSP and PS Vita. And then the PlayStation sort of carries on at the bottom here. So PS3, PS4, PS5. I really should expand out my PS4 games. I think that's probably in years to come I'll be doing that. And then my Switch section. Again, got the sign. Some little display pieces. This top shelf is just my super rare titles in number order. I haven't got them all, but I stopped at 100, which was the little Gator Collector's Edition. I was just buying them for the sake of buying them and not actually playing them, so I drew a line in the sand and it was number 100 basically. And then this is my just regular Switch collection. Alphabetical order, just a sea of red, as most people don't like. Me and my wife are quite the fan of the Yoshis, so if we ever get a chance to get any sort of weird Yoshi plushes, then we'll get hold of them. You see we've got the Mega Yarn. That actually lights up, but it's USB powered and it's on a shelf, so I have no way of getting it. And then this is my humble Switch 2 section. I don't have many games of yet. I'm also only buying physical cartridges. I'm not interested in any of the game key cards. I'm big into physical preservation, and I don't like the idea that they could switch a server off and I don't have the game, so I'm only buying those ones, which pains me because there are some really cool games that I would love to own for the Switch 2, but they are game key card, so I'm not going to go there. And then the next section is my NES games with some Magikarps. I'd really love a better way of displaying these, but I haven't found one yet. If you've got any ideas, please let me know in the comments. Next is Virtual Boy. I've only got a few games from there. My SNES, which is a very small selection. I'm not very pleased about that. Some really useful tubs with my Game Boy games in, 3D printed stands, so they all sit, and there's 3 rows. It's really quite very good for space, and you can just flick through them as you need them. My GameCube, pretty happy with that selection that I've got there. So a little bit of Wii, not much Wii U. Then we move into my Game Boy Advance. These are in drawers, which are again 3D printed, so you can just flick through and what you need. I tend not to buy the in-box ones for everything just because they're so expensive. I do have some box ones, but they're the titles that I care about rather than just everything. Then right at the bottom we have DS and 3DS. I really should pick up some more 3DS games, but they're quite expensive, and I've got the ones that I kind of want. It's not to say that I won't buy them, but I've kind of got to where I want to be. So that's the 3 billies on the left. I've still got room for expansion. I'm probably going to go to the same as I have here done, where it's just like one big shelf with some blocks. Then here is my consoles and my sofa where I sit to play. So all these consoles are wired up into a HDMI splitter that's in between these units, so they all run into that, and that one cable goes to here. So I turn the console on, turn the TV on, I'm playing games, easy peasy. They're all in fairly order, so this is Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sega, and I'm a bit of OCD with the consoles. I also use, if you can see the colour coded screen wipes for there. They're like in Tesco's for like £2 for a pack of 4, and I just really colour code them, and it also stops the consoles getting dusty. On the wall, I have one of those display cases that you're meant to put model trains in or buses, but they perfectly fit amiibos. So I've got all my Zelda ones in there, plus a few choice others. Quite like Final Fantasy, Metroid, a few bits and bobs. And then my wife is a big fan of Animal Crossing, so we've got them all down the bottom there. We are still missing one, which I believe is Rover, the cat, dog. Sorry if I got that wrong. Then this Billy is my Microsoft drop. Again, I have some bigger boxes at the top, and then 3D printed signs so you can tell what's on. And then again, I've done the height where it's double stacked, and then behind here is DVD cases to give them a bit of height, so you can see what they are. Now it's not ideal, but I'm working with the space I've got. You can just take them out, so it's not total a hardship, but if I wasn't to do this, I'd need like twice the amount of billies just to put this amount of stock in. And again, I've got room for expansion here, so this could go all the way for another row. And then the same with my Xbox 360, it's double stacked with a row of DVDs at the bottom to give it height, so you can see the ones at the bottom. And then right at the bottom is my lowly Xbox One collection. Honestly, probably like most people, I've stopped buying for that system now. Microsoft just don't really seem to care about releasing games on their own console anymore. So like the last title I actually bought for it was Cyberpunk, which you can see there, because it has got the 2.0 and all the DLC on disc, whereas the PS5 version didn't. But yeah, and this is an addition, so I've now got a half billy down here. This holds all my Evercade games in there. Again, I've gone for the double stack approach. I've got them in order, so there's the home console, handheld, and an arcade. And I've got my small selection of Neo Geo Pocket games. I don't have many, but I've kind of got the ones I'm after, bearing a few of the expensive ones. And then a few of my box sets, plus a few books. These books, by the way, by Chris Scullion. He does like encyclopedias of all the games released and like a little bit of tidbit information. Not super in depth, but quite a nice read, and he releases them one a year, so they're quite interesting. Then next up is my Sega section. Again, we start with Master System, nice 3D printed sign, just a small selection. It's something that I want to grow upon and get some more. And that's my modded Game Gear. It's had all the caps replaced, it's got a new screen on it, USB powered, great way to play all the games now. Mega Drive, nice selection, always room for expand on that. Then a few Atari Jaguar, Sega Saturn and my 4K films, sorry. And then below is my Dreamcast. Again, these have all been double stacked. I'm missing a few big hitters still, but I'm only about 50 or 60 away from a complete collection. Not that I'm going for the complete collection, but it's got that. And then in this little alcove, it's my desk and my Nintendo Zelda shrine. If you didn't know, I quite like Zelda. Probably one of my favourite franchises, if you probably didn't guess that by now. But yeah, I could have another Billy in here, because it does perfectly fit in this space basically. But I occasionally work from home, so I do need a desk. And also it's quite useful having a desk space, just being able to tinker with things, play a little bit of games, clean products. So yeah, it's kind of worth it. Yeah, then a blank wall, just pretty boring. I'm hoping to do something with that at some point. Ideas and suggestions down below. But yeah, that's my games room. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not massive in comparison to some of my American brothers and sisters, but for me this is really great. It's of what I've always dreamed for, and there's still room for expansion in this room. It's not full yet, but yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, see you for the next one.